We are back here on United and Everything Football. I'm sure you have a lot on your mind watching this podcast. I'm sure you had a lot running through your mind when you were watching the game yesterday. At the point when Bruno Fernandes got the red card, I'm sure in your heart you knew that was over. You knew there was no way back for Manchester United. Just before this recorded, a friend of mine posted somewhere, can Man United beat any team now? It's a question on the mind of everyone at the moment. This is Manchester United, a team that produces Boxing Day classics. Now, we can't even have any better thing to do on Boxing Day for our fans. Unfortunately, this is the situation we find ourselves. We lost 2-0 against Wolverhampton Wanderers in the Premier League. As it stands, we have lost more games in the Premier League than we have won. We've lost 8 games as against 6 games won so far in the Premier League. We are currently seated 14th on the Premier League table. What is the problem? What is the issue? I'm sure you are like, oh God, you guys sound like broken records, but we still have to be here. We still have to analyze the game. We still have to see what angle we can look at this issue from. So I'm here with Kwame Nchubu to, as usual, discuss everything about the game yesterday and any other issues here on United and Everything. So it's been 1 year since INEOS was confirmed to be part owners of Manchester United, and we're given the keys to the football directorate or the football division of the club. What has been the issue? Kwame is here with me. We'll be analyzing all of that here on United and Everything Football. You know what to do. Subscribe, comment, give us 100 likes or more, and also, share with your friends. Kwame, great to have you. I hope you've enjoyed your Christmas, regardless of what United give us.
United has tried to be the Grinch that stole Christmas, but it's not going to work. I've just joined my Christmas regardless.
Yeah.
But see, it was a terrible Boxing Day. United packaged a terrible gift for us. We opened it up and it was just complete disaster. Regardless, Christmas is Christmas.
Yeah.
End of the year, we're still supposed to enjoy with our family and friends.
Very important.
United is trying its possible best to ruin it, but it's not going to work.
Well, as usual, you know what to do. Remember to hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. I'll make a quick turnaround. When I come back, we'll first look at the game itself. We'll look at a few issues, and we'll look at INEOS' 1 year tenure. And there are some key things we need to talk about. Someone would think, because he's gotten a red card. I think we need to address something very fundamental. The captain of our club. We'll talk about that here on United and Everything Football. Thank you very much. Welcome back to United and Everything Football. We hope you are enjoying your holidays. Please remember to have fun with your family, your friends. Wherever event you go, please remember to take time, take care of yourselves. Check the drinks you are drinking and the food you are eating. You are in Ghana, there is a cholera outbreak, so please be careful where you are eating and what you are eating and everything. It's on the rise. So there's a public
cholera outbreak in 2024.
Yes.
2024.
Yes. So just be careful. Be careful out there in everything that you do. Kwame, let's look at the game. Yesterday, the game started. City drew. First game was good for Asu. And then what happened? Chelsea lost. Oh, what a great moment. What a great Boxing Day we are going to have. United said, hey, hold my beer.
Hold my beer.
Something for you. United served us a 2-0 loss. Bruno Fernandes, the captain of the club, getting his third red card of the season. Kwame, let's analyze the game. Let's look at the issues that came up in the game for you.
So see, when the lineup did come out, I think we all said to ourselves, you know what? He's made only 2 changes from the last starting 11 that lost at home against was the Forest.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And we're saying, finally, I think he's settling on something that is very close to his starting 11. He said before the game he doesn't like that team, but he feels like now he's getting to know the team better and understands who he can actually move forward with.
Yeah.
So the starting 11 was very close to what many believe is our strongest starting 11. And that's where I have even an issue. I think aside Matthias de Ligt, everybody else who started is supposed to be a starter in this lineup. A front 2 or 3 of Bruno Fernandes, Rasmus Højlund, and Amad Diallo. Midfield of Molineux and Ogate, wing backs of Dalot and Mazraoui, and then 3 centre backs of Lenny Yoro, Maguire, whom we believe Matthias de Ligt will play in his place, and then Lisandro Martinez with Onana in goal. If this is Manchester United's strongest 11, then we have a very serious problem. Because, like I said in previous episode, your intro was apt. You sound like broken records. Like I said in the previous episodes, that front 3, take away Bruno Fernandes because he's the most experienced person, our captain, blah, 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 blah. He's playing like an absolute idiot. The other 2, in Amad Diallo and Højlund, don't scare anybody in the league. They don't. When you look at Wolves, right, Matthias Cunha trumps our front 3. He was untouchable yesterday. Most teams that would face, you would realize that there are at least 2 of their front 3 who could easily walk into the Manchester United front 3. That's what you're going to see over the next, because we've decided to fuel our squad. When I say fuel our squad, I mean over the past 12 months, these are the players that Manchester United have let go. These are the players that made us sort of stand out squad-wise in comparison to most people. I'm not saying these players were great. People should not misinterpret me. I'm just saying we spent a bucket load of money on a lot of certain players, and then we also had certain players from our academy in the team that made us stand out in terms of separate us from the rest of the bunch.
A little bit of quality than the other teams,
Yes, I'm talking about the last 12 months. We let Jadon Sancho go. We let Mason Greenwood go. We let Anthony Martial also go. And we are on the brink of letting Marcus Rashford actually go. So if you take these 4 players out of our starting our forward line, and you replace them with only Joshua Zexi and Rasmus Højlund from a year past, right? And then you have Alejandro Garnacho and Amad Diallo. These 4 don't take you up another level. There is a serious lack of quality in the forward line. What I'm saying is, if you let all these players go, you certainly have to replace them with equal or better players. Better players, actually. But we haven't done that. So we've left ourselves very short. What I do say is we've leveled ourselves up with the rest of the league. Lots of teams will look at us and go like, that's not a Manchester United team to fear. Our attacking midfielder, that's not good. Our captain, let me address him properly. Our captain in Bruno Fernandes is not leading. A captain is supposed to lead. You remember a couple of years ago when we had to make this captaincy change? There was a debate in our Telegram group as to who should take over back then. And I used to say, and people misinterpreted me that time to think that probably I have something against Bruno Fernandes. But I had a character issue with him being our captain. He doesn't have emotional control. He's never had emotional control. He's almost like he's almost always about go off. His chatter with officials doesn't appeal to me. His mannerisms and his gestures have never appealed to me. Excellent footballer by all means. Our best signing post Alex Ferguson. But leaders come in different forms. He's a leader in the squad. But to wear the captain's armband, I was always skeptical about it. At the time, people then asked me, then who is your alternative? I felt at the time that David De Gea should have been given the captaincy. Ronaldo was in the squad, a very good candidate for captaincy. But then again, when you look back in hindsight, those 2 players have left the club in the shortest period of time. Leaving the only other viable candidates, long-term wise, has even been given a long-term contract, as Bruno Fernandes, right? People felt at the time that Harry Maguire was not up to it. Bruno Fernandes was the one leading in terms of goals and assists and productivity on the football pitch, and wholeheartedly deserved it at a period of time. I did not have any qualms, but whatever critique that I had back then has reared its head again. In a season where he's supposed to lead the most, after being given his last biggest contract, in my opinion, he sort of cemented himself in terms of his bank account, in terms of his status at the football club. you would expect more leadership qualities from him.
Yeah.
3 red cards, like you said. 3 red cards. That's absurd.
Yep.
2 red cards under Erik ten Hag when he needed him the most in 2 different competitions. He almost sabotaged our Europa League campaign, if not for Harry Maguire's equalizer at Porto. The former captain would have been in trouble.
Yeah.
In the league against Spurs, very early on, there's something silly. I still consider it silly, despite the fact that the decision was overturned. He shouldn't have gotten himself in that situation in the first place because he had lost emotional control when being run around like kids on the pitch, and then he was just chasing after everything, trying to make amends, and then got a red card. Yesterday was the peak of it. If you remember what led to the first yellow card, he got fouled. The referee did not call it.
So he went back to sort of retaliate.
Are you stupid? Like, we could actually see him when he was chasing. This guy's going to get a yellow card. This guy's going to get. And then he actually pulls it off, gets a yellow card, and he's remonstrating to the referee. You see?
Not to cut you. If Bruno was, excuse my language, emotionally intelligent enough and had read the mood of the referee, he would have been killed.
From the start.
3 minutes into the game, we saw the referee was card happy because
Lenny Euro,
made a tackle. I mean, every good referee or every referee that sort of wants to manage situations in the game and allow the game to flow would ordinarily give a
let it go.
Like, hey, gentlemen, that was a very bad tackle. Any other tackle like that, and that's a yellow card. But straight away, he flashes a yellow card. So you should have a sense that it is very possible this referee is card happy, and at the slightest foul, which he deems to be, I mean, an offense that is bookable, he will give a yellow card. But the captain who misread or who doesn't read situations and just applies emotions to everything found himself fouling a player, like you rightly said. He got fouled, and then he felt that he had to retaliate. You know, before you continue, see, we need to address this. And when you are looking at issues of leadership, and if you are looking at leadership in football, you need characters that are able to, 1, stand up for the team, 2, calm situations down, 3, lead the team emotionally and with your head as well. Now, when the going gets tough for Manchester United, every other player looks to nobody but the leader. I mean, it is natural that when we are on the pitch or when we are in a group, there is someone who leads us. When things are getting out of hand or anything, and we are at our wit ends, we try to look at one individual who we feel can, just his mere presence and the way he carries himself alone, sort of calm tempers down. But this is our captain who is always led or driven by emotions and can't keep his emotions in check. And that is a problem. I mean, like you said, he's a leader. He's someone who is able to sort of bring the players together and all of that. But leaders come in different forms. The team, Bruno was made captain before the start of last season. We had our worst campaign, one of our worst campaigns ever. In fact, this one is trumping that. And if you're a leader, although you won the FA Cup, you have been a leader of a team that is dropping. And you are not doing anything. When Erik ten Hag was sacked, you said that we were part of, it was all our fault and all of that. You think it's just mere lip service? It's action. Just get there. How are you rallying the troops together? How are you putting the team together? You lead with your performance and with your leadership qualities. And Bruno has failed to do that.
It's even made worse by the fact that there are not too many other leaders.
We don't have them.
You have certain experienced players in the team, but then you wouldn't necessarily call all of them leaders. The reason why I bring this up is one friend of ours in our Telegram group brought up the fact that Roy Keane criticized him and said he would have stripped Bruno Fernandes of the captaincy. And then the response was that, but Roy Keane was worse.
He has no idea.
The difference is that yes, Roy Keane probably has the record for most red cards in Manchester United history. I think 13 red cards also. But he wasn't the only leader in the team. That's the difference. The team was littered with leaders all across the football pitch. He was a leader of leaders, a leader of men. That's the difference. So when he is even taken out of the picture, in fact, some of his actions was even to rally the troops. Sometimes we're not putting him in a tackle in a game, and he goes like, you know what, we are being soft. So he goes in there, and that's something crazy.
So
and that rather
gives you
inspires everybody else to wake up.
Exactly.
But the overriding factors, there were so many leaders at the time. When you look at this squad, if you are the leader, knowing the makeup of the team now, especially now, and knowing that there are not too many people who have the character out there, once you do something stupid and get your sent off, you are rather letting the team down because there are not too many people who are going to step up in your stead.
Yeah.
That sense of responsibility should be there. So that's the stark difference.
Yeah.
Totally different eras. In our most successful era with the kind of coach that we had on the bench, if Roy Keane isn't even doing those things, the manager even has a problem with it.
That's true.
If Roy Keane steps out of the side, there are so many other people the manager can take on the football pitch. You fucking take over.
That's
right?
True.
So let's not even make that comparison. Bruno Fernandes got himself stupidly sent off, and we knew we had lost the game. Honestly, in fact, we considered like a minute or two right after that, but for an offside. So that even showed how things were going to go. But let's talk about the goal, the set piece thing. You know, I spoke about it. For those who were riled up by my rants the last time, emotions were all over the place, and probably I may have said things that were over the top, of which I do not apologize for. I just want you to know that you didn't see that coming. I do not apologize for anything that I said. So let's keep it moving. The set piece thing. This our coach, the assistant coach, Fernandez or whatever that he is, he has no clue what he's doing. I saw a lot of people trying to make a case for Andre Onana in that instance, saying that he's sandwiched by this and probably have been fouled. It is the setup when we are defending set pieces. How does Wolves have two players sandwiching our goalkeeper without any Manchester United defender there to protect the goalkeeper? We literally left Andre Onana there to dry. Whatever happens to you, we do not care. Right? Olympico.
You know the funny thing? It's not like it hasn't happened before, just a week before.
That's the thing. Someone scored an Olympico against us, and then they allowed it to happen again without any protection for the goalkeeper, and we're supposed to act surprised. This is not... You see, the thing is, what I've noticed about the set pieces is everybody's trying to play to instruction. Clearly, it's supposed to be a zonal marking in a 6-yard box, and everybody's supposed to trying to be where he's supposed to be because that is what they've been asked to do. This is why I go like, I wouldn't necessarily pin it on the players. I would put it on the set piece coaching, which is absolutely atrocious. If this guy thinks it's the Portuguese league, I sound like a broken record. He's absolutely kidding himself. When Premier League players step up, it's different. When Premier League teams find a weakness, they prey up on it until you find a solution.
Yes.
How have we conceded 7 set piece goals from 10 since you came?
Can we predict the next game easily? We don't
know what's going to happen.
Newcastle will score from a set piece.
A set piece. It's crazy. It shows you that that is where I think Ruben Amorim also has to take responsibility back because he's the overall coach of the team.
Of course.
If your assistant coach is not pulling it off, you are actually in charge. He has to learn things quickly. I do not want to go off on him because you know already that I've been underwhelmed. I find his tenure underwhelming because losing 5 games in 10 is not something that I'm supposed to sort of accept and entertain as a Manchester United fan. But I get it. The reason why I say I get it is we're having this discussion prior to this. I think we've said enough about the game. A 2-0 loss. Garnacho gives away the ball in the last minute, and
typical.
They go on the break. And then they score. I'll talk a little bit about Garnacho too, but let's just talk about the Amorim tenure. I think we are stuck in a loop as Manchester United fans. Over the past decade, we have been making the same complaints and the same excuses over time. It's gotten to Amorim's turn, and now the chatter around is that the squad isn't good enough. But we've been here before.
Yeah.
When the coach isn't good enough, and we go like, oh, it's the coach's fault, and then we sack him, and then we bring a new coach, and then things aren't going well. Then we go like, oh, then the players are not good enough. But we've been in this cycle over and over again. I remember back in, because I feel like the 2 managers who have been backed with buckets loads of cash have been Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Ten Hag. When you combine their overall spend, it's £1 billion between the two.
That's true.
They brought in significant amount of players. I think Ole brought in about 13 players, and Ten Hag brought in about 16 players in their tenure. When you do that, you are supposed to take a branch of the blame when things aren't going well, because most of the players that are in the team now are from those tenures.
Right.
But we've said before that, you know what, we back those managers, right? We back those managers, and then they gave us bad signings. It's gotten to Amorim, and we are saying, oh, it's because of the previous managers' flaws and then bad signings. That is how come we have to make drastic changes. You go all the way back to a couple of managers before those two, in Jose Mourinho and Louis van Gaal. They were complaining that they were not backed enough.
Yeah.
Because the club did not get certain players for them at certain times.
Yeah.
It's just, we're just going around in circles, literally. But what I would say about Amorim's team, about Amorim's appointment and tenure, is that he is the manager who has the most drastic formation with respect to all the other managers we've appointed. Even forget about the managers we've appointed. Even Alex Ferguson, in terms of how the style of football that we want to play, his style is the most drastic. We're talking about a 3-4-2 that Manchester United doesn't play. What that also means is that it rules out a lot of players in the squad.
Yeah.
When it comes to playing that particular system, because that system requires a very specific skill set and a very specific kind of Manchester United player, of which we've not had that at this club ever. Ever. So it begs the question, why have INEOS gone with such a very different manager to all the other managers that we've had? In fact, we've had totally different managers who played totally different ways, but you realize that there was a base system of a 4-3-3 sort of, you know what, we still have wingers in the squad, we still have certain fullbacks in the squad, we have a defensive midfielder, attacking midfielder. Despite the variations, the players that we often buy fit the same mold. Right? But with this coach, with this system, a lot of the players do not fit. That's what we've come to learn over the past 10 games under Amorim, 10, 11 games under Amorim. A lot of the players would not fit the system going forward, of which he would have to be the manager that will have to make the most drastic changes to our squad to compared to all the other managers over the past decade.
Right.
I consider him unfortunate because this is also the most difficult time to make the most drastic measures, drastic changes to any squad of any Manchester United manager's tenure because of the rules, PSL and FFP. These rules were not in place before. So all that we could have said in the past is Manchester United were mismanaging funds in terms of signing the wrong players and also signing players for crazy wages, of which has had its repercussions going forward. INEOS have a hell of a job to do in rectifying this, but I feel like they've put themselves in a situation where they have to rectify the situation, back this manager, or this will be their second manager that they had in the space of just 1 year, who is bound to fail. What I'm trying to imply is simple, that in the next 5 days, I think the general transfer window kicks in, right? Manchester United does not have a choice, irrespective of all the noise that you are hearing out there, that we do not have the fans, we do not have. INEOS have to find a way of taking advantage of every single opportunity that they have to make changes to this team, starting from the general transfer window. If it means United has to make very, very tough decisions, and the decisions I've already told you that are already in force. The Marcus Rashford you are not seeing, the Casemiro that you are not seeing, all these players, the Garnacho that is on the bench, I was holding that thought, but the Garnacho that you even see on the bench, everything points to the fact that United is trying to reduce the wage bill and also bring in money. This does not even apply just to the football. You've seen it off the pitch where we are cutting costs and we are doing all those kind of things. I think it is the turn of the squad now, where they know they have to cut costs on the squad and also bring in revenue. Right? The only way you can do this is let players on silly wages with very little output go in Casemiro and Rashford, and then sell certain players who can bring in a lot of money for you to be able to make the changes, the drastic changes that I speak of which Alejandro Garnacho falls into. Reason I make this reference is I have to go back to the Chelsea project. that people may not want to hear it, but it is what it is.
Mm.
For Chelsea to be able to make those changes that they've made to their squad, you know, at the point in time, they were buying players every 2 business working days. But people were not paying attention to what they are selling. All they were thinking about is they are buying. But when Todd Boehly took over, Chelsea had a huge plethora of academy players in their first team. If you remember this Champions League photo that they took of the academy players of Tammy Abraham, Tomori, Gallagher, all what's his name, Loftus-Cheek, all those players. Mason Mount. They sold every single one of them. They've sold every single one of them without any emotions attached.
It's left with Reece James.
Reece James would have been sold if he could get back onto the football pitch and stay fit. But he can't stay fit to save his life. But they sold every single one of them for humongous amounts of money. And on the books, these represent full profits. That is how come they've been able to do all the signings that they've signed. So when you look at the Todd Boehly spend, you would probably see 1.6 billion pounds being spent. But go and look at how much revenue they brought in that period of time. Probably about half of that, 800 million pounds or so, probably even more. Right? So they're able to do that business. I think that is where INEOS have gotten to, where they have, you know, our coach can come and say all the nice things. One of the reasons why we appointed him is because of his communication skills, to gloss over things so that we do not panic or we do not look like we don't know what
it doesn't cause unnecessary media brouhaha.
Exactly. But clearly, behind the scenes, I can see beyond what he's saying.
Oh, of course.
United is going to get rid of people, even including Alejandro Garnacho. If a 50 million pound bid came from Atletico Madrid for Alejandro Garnacho right now, United will accept it.
Clear.
Because what that 50 million pounds does for you is that you are able to bring in 3 or 4 other players. This is the explanation. When you say full profit on the books, for other players who are bought in, who are not homegrown players, who are brought in from foreign leagues or wherever, these players, if they are even bought for 50, 60 million pounds each, the value of the transfer is spread over a period of time. So a 60 million pound signing from outside the league or wherever comes in on a 6-year contract. That represents probably 10 million pounds on the books. If you bring Alejandro Garnacho for 50 million pounds, full profit on the books, as against that 10 million back from a 60 million pound purchase, what it means is you can sign other 5 players for that same amount of money, 60 million, spread their fees over the length of their contract, which is often 5 or 6 years, right? 5 players for the sale of 1 Garnacho. That's what it means. You take Rashford, sell him for 30, 40 million pounds. In addition to Alejandro Garnacho, these 2 players can rake in probably 80, 90, 100 million pounds. That allows you to probably sign 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 players. So this is the kind of drastic measure that INEOS have to go through. I don't think they will be the only players who would go. There are some aged players who would have to go. Casemiro, Eriksen, for example. All these players have to go off the wage bill for the wage bill to reduce for us to be able to make the drastic changes that we want. That is the task ahead for INEOS. And they have to figure it out and figure it out right from the jump in 6 days' time. Otherwise, this season is just going to, in fact, let's be honest, the season is done. It's done. Our only saving grace is in one competition because I think we'll get knocked out of the FA Cup against Arsenal.
The Europa
League. Just as the FA Cup was able to save our season and put us in Europe and put us in the position that we are in now, because winning that FA Cup is what has given us a shot at Europa, and the Europa consequently has given us a shot at Champions League football. Some way, somehow. It's like a domino effect. We have to win the Europa League at all costs to rescue the season. It's the only thing that's left. We called it like a couple of weeks ago, and it's even more clearer now. We are not going to make in terms of the league, our best is probably 8 spots. Like our if you're going to salvage anything else, it's probably like 8. And that's not even probably getting you into Europe now. So all eggs in the Europa League basket going forward. But for us to even achieve that, we need a bit of a boost. January, they should start signing players. They really have to start signing players. I'm sure you want to get in on INEOS.
Yes, I want to get in on INEOS. It's been 1 year since they took over as the people with the keys to our football directorate or to grow our football. Now, what I'm seeing I don't like you. Someone
So
will say,
impressive.
yes, you need some sort of chaos before things can turn around. But INEOS has a record. INEOS has a record. This is a group that has gone to OGC and have appointed a manager every new season. Every new season. They have brought in 2 or 3 different sporting directors. They made a lot of promises to Nice and they haven't been able to do anything there. Someone will say, why are you bringing this up? The signs are showing at Man United. We went every length to bring in Dan Ashworth from Newcastle United. He came in 3 months or 4 months into the job. He's been asked to leave. They have a track record. And I'm not so... And if I follow the track record and the things that they are doing, it doesn't fill me with confidence. If, let's say, a group that has already acquired 2 teams and are doing quite well and have transformed the team comes to take over Man United, at least you are filled with some level of hope that, okay, this is a group that is capable of transforming a football team. But as it stands, they are not filling me with confidence. They've already sacked the manager. They've already sacked the sporting director. Isn't that clear signs of what they are used to doing in other places? It's clear. They are not just owning OGC, they own FC Lausanne in Switzerland. And they're not doing pretty well ever since they took over. I think it's now that they are third on the league or something. But at the end of the season, because even OGCDs, they could be like around third or something before you realize they have dropped to somewhere like 8th or 6th.
In the Europa, I think they are last.
Look at that.
On the table. Or so, last but one, something like that.
Now, this is the most difficult time of our time as United fans. Because the owner is having a go at ex-players or ex-employees. He's having a go at employees. He's having a go at legends, including Sir Alex Ferguson. As we speak to you, the small seat that is reserved for Matt Busby's family is being threatened for whatever reason. Stewards, small £100 and other things is under threat. Everybody is under threat. Even the fans who wants to go and watch the game, children, £66. All of them under threat. Sir Jim Ratcliffe, you said it's not a life switch. We appreciate that. You said the environment around the manager wasn't good. We appreciate that. You said a whole lot of things. We appreciate that. But we are not seeing any clear sign. Someone will say, oh, it's just 1 year. Let us see a sign. Because you are not seeing it. Promises of building Old Trafford and all of that. Now what you are reading is that you are running to Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos for funding. That is why when Sicho says them don't get money, I'm tempted to believe that. I'm really tempted to believe that. What is the plan? Where are we going? What are we trying to do? As it stands, the football project is not so clear to me, personally. It's not so clear to me. It's not so clear. Because in case Ruben Amorim is sacked today, or is sacked by the end of the season, or is sacked somewhere in the middle of next season, I assume by summer we'll be buying players for him to fit a system. When he's not working and he's sacked, the new coach that comes requires perhaps have another system or whatever to be able to do the things that they want to do.
That's the problem. Like, are we going to now go like this is the system for the club, or we are going to bring a new manager with a totally different system and then repeat the sins of the past?
That's what I'm saying. It's not so clear to me because we read and heard a lot of things that there's going to be a game model, that the coach that comes in will fit the game model. We will buy players for the game model. So what are we trying to do? It's not so clear to me. So INEOS, it's been 1 year. You need to get your acts together. From Kwame in Accra, Ghana, I'm telling you, get your acts together. It's very, very important. We are not seeing anything. We are not seeing any clear sign. You said it's...
This is the most disturbing time for any Manchester United.
Of course, it is.
Probably in the last 3 decades, because it's scary. Actually, we do not have a clear sense of direction. We do not know what the future holds. We don't even know whether we can win a football game. We don't even know whether we can win a football game.
If you are looking for a set of hopeful United fans, you won't go beyond me and Kwame. You won't go beyond us. But
even our hope is being tested.
You get the whole point. So that's where we are at the moment. Unfortunately, our time is running out. It's Kwame. Just a
One
minute.
One more game before the end of the year.
Of the year
One more
against
game.
Newcastle United. Like you have you sort of
no Ugarte, no
Bruno.
Bruno Fernandes. Good Lord, it's just going to be another struggle. It's just we can't even analyze the game because whatever you're going to see out on the pitch, you just know Newcastle just have a little bit more than us.
Of course.
Is this something that after a couple of losses, we kind of show some character and bounce back some way somehow? But it's far-fetched, isn't it?
I'm sorry. That's how we end today's edition of United and Everything Football. Sorry, we had to end on this note because I'm sure you are feeling the same way. So that's basically how it has to end. It's been great having you on the podcast with us today. We hope you enjoy the rest of your holidays. Very soon we are entering the new year, so please again be careful out there. Wherever you go, the drinks you are drinking, the food you are eating, please be very, very careful. You are so important to us. You are dear to our heart. You are a part of this beautiful community. So please take care of yourself. Thank you very much, Kwame, for joining us on the podcast today. As usual, it's always a pleasure to do it with you. And to you for being a part and watching. We know it's not been easy. It's very difficult to click the play to watch whatever we are saying. I know. But we are in it together. We'll see you on the next one. That is after the Newcastle game. Hopefully we come back with some smiles. But we'll see. Whatever happens, we'll still be here to talk about.
We'll be here.
My name is Kwame. His name is Kwame. We'll see you on the next one. Have a great time. Bye-bye.